On November 8, 2013, Typhoon Haiyan, the most powerful on records, made landfall in the city of Tacloban, Philippines, with winds of 375 km per hour and a storm surge of over 6 meters, leaving thousands dead and millions displaced. Now, 10 years on, we speak with the survivors to find out what has changed over the years. The Philippines is a country made up of 7,000 islands in the Southeast Asian Pacific Ocean, known for its idyllic beaches and the hospitality of its citizens. Yet in this very location that sees it hit by 20 and 30 typhoons or tropical storms each year. But on that 8th of November, no one expected what was to come.
It's 5 a.m. when I'm preparing to go to work, and then it's raining. There are a little bit of strong winds, but we know that it is the strongest typhoon. And then the authority warned us to be safe because the strong wind will come. But our house is good enough, and we feel that we are safety. But when it's in the 7 o'clock, maybe it's 6 o'clock in the morning, the strong wind came. Then we are shocked because it's really that's the in whole of my life that's the strong wind that I ever encountered. Then because our house is just a bungalow, we feel safe.
Yet by 6 in the morning, the storm surge in the form of a giant wave swept through Tacloban, completely flooding homes and businesses.
Then it's like a little flood. Then after a third flood was hit, and then it's like our home. It's above the level. It's above us level.
What did you do on this time?
At that time, we are at my mother-in-law house, and I'm preparing for the work. Then after a minute, a flood come inside in our house. Then I suddenly it's like I had a mental block because I was shocked.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's in whole of my life, because it's like the end of the world. Because after the house was destroyed, then the strong flood, the big flood was come over our house. Then we are so nervous. All of us in the house was go out and transfer to our aunt's house, which is second. They have a second floor. Then we transfer it to the other house.
Meanwhile, in the hospital, nurses were moving patients to upper floors or other hospitals.
During the typhoon on the day the typhoon came, all of our focus were on evacuating the patients, and some people from the residents, they went in the hospital. So basically, we weren't able to care for the patients because of the typhoon. So the focus shifted from caring to evacuating. So we went from room to room just for the patients and the other residents to be safe, because the roof was going off.
Evacuated to other hospitals, to other cities, or to Manila?
No. During the typhoon, they went directly to the hospital because houses in the Philippines, or most of Tacloban or in the nearby neighbors, were house made of light materials. So initial winds, they went off. They completely destroyed the houses. So they evacuated to the city hospital. So instead of us caring for the patients, we had a problem of the evacuees of the neighborhood. So it went from more than 30 patients to I think 100 people. So for us also, we were concerned of our safety also, but we cannot just be concerned of ourselves because we were on duty. So we have to care for the patients and the evacuees also.
Carmelita was luckier. She was pregnant with Yola, who was born on that very 8th day.
Someone advised to them that they are need to transfer to the church, but they never transfer to the church because they are comfortable with the house of their grandmother.
On the same day was born in the hospital?
The house.
Evacuation centers like the Astrodome or the church in Palo were filling up with survivors, but evacuation was impossible because the airport was damaged.
3 days that we didn't have a relief, then the money that time is useless. We only want food. We have nothing to do but to open the store. Some people open the store like grocery, and then that time my husband is in the military. He is far from us. Then he didn't know that our place is happening like that. That after a day, their commanding officer told her that who had a family that lives in Tacloban, you have to go home because your family, and we are not sure if they're still alive. And because the Tacloban, our place, is really the heart of that tragedy. Then they are suddenly go home. Because a lot more on the roads, destruction, obstruction, the trees that fall down, they cannot, their vehicle, a military vehicle, because they carry military vehicle that cannot pass along Tacloban. That's why they are from the San Juanico Bridge. From San Juanico Bridge, they walk here in our house. Then he told me that they are there in San Juanico Samar side. They almost walk for, I thought, 6 hours from San Juanico go here in our, and then he told me that he didn't in his mind he believed that we are already died that time, because when he passed away, a lot of the died people in the roads. But when he it's 6 o'clock in the evening or 7 o'clock, and then the whole Tacloban was dark. Then only we use candle. Then he came in our house. It was silent. Then he walked slowly. Then he praying that we were still alive. Then and then when we opened the door, we it's like
saw him.
Some other crying. I cried, and thanks God that we are safe.
In the midst of the chaos and desperation of the initial days to get food and water, the airport was clear and the aid began to arrive. Along with the first aid, supplies, thousands of bags were sent to locals could help clear the bodies from the streets to prevent diseases.
Days after typhoon, nobody relieved me from work, so I have to work straight. Some nurses were coming there, but they were telling me to go on straight because they have families to attend to, so they forgot that I have also families, so they were just concerned about themselves, understandably, but I have to be there because no one relieved me on my post. So I was there for more than 4 days, I think, before I can go home and check on my families.
How many time until normal life again?
6 months after, the electricity was go back, and then the signal also go back.
The Alejandro Hotel also served as a refuge, especially for tourists, and the hotel roof was used for helicopter evacuation. 10 years have passed, and we as the politicians have made efforts to prevent this from happening again.
Before there is the city disaster risk reduction management was not institutionalized, so it was not in the program of the city government or in the Philippine government on that matter. So after Yolanda, they institutionalized it, meaning they made an office. So there is an office in the city government. It's City Disaster Risk Reduction Office, and they hired people who are in charge of a specific job. Their specific job is during calamities, disasters. So they are the ones preparing the people before before typhoon comes. They are instructing people to where the evacuation centers are, and now it's more coordinated because we in the health sectors have specific responsibilities before, after, and during typhoons. So the preparation is there, unlike before, and however, in the structural forms of our buildings, it's still the old roof. When typhoon comes all over again, it will be ripped off, because the cost of building a very hard roof, I think it's a cement roof, is not reachable for typical Filipinos, for us. Yeah.
Duterte times, his project is build program. That's it. A lot of roads that are constructed, a lot of buildings, hospitals, then really a lot of progression in the administration of Duterte, because he focused about the build program.
The Leyte Dike is a coastal infrastructure that will protect the coast of Tacloban, Palo, and Tanawan, which were the areas more affected by the typhoon. The Catedral in Palo has also been rebuilt for the second time, having previously served as a hospital during World War II and was visited by Pope Francis in 2015.
And until now, when the Marcos is our president, he continues the build program. Still ongoing, the constructing of the infrastructure, a lot more.
The problem is the people, because some of us Filipinos are really stubborn. They know the danger, and yet they still stay there.
At the Astrodome Palos Convention Center near the airport, there is a cemetery with the names of all the individuals hastily buried there and a monument in memory of all the victims. To grasp the power of the storm surge, The wave ran aground the Eva Jocelyn, a 3,000-ton ship which was restored in 2015 and can be visited in the very spot where it remained after the typhoon. Those who can afford it have rebuilt their homes with concrete and 2 floors, but many still lack the resources and have built with lighter materials.
That's why we built this house. we put second floor and then we're planning to have a rooftop.
What struck me about the Philippines is how families or neighbors help each other, not only in the extreme cases like that, but in day-to-day life. They might hop on a tuk-tuk to travel 100 meters just to leave some coins for the driver who has no other means of living. Nonetheless, changes in typhoon are evident both in their strengths and their path.
So before, every typhoon hits Eastern Visayas, but now some of it goes to Luzon, and now we have Mindanao. Before, Mindanao rarely gets hit of typhoons, but now they get hit.
The Filipino people still lives looking to the sea, because the question is not if another typhoon as Yolanda will come. The question is when.
She still had a trauma with the typhoon. When typhoon comes, then they are preparing na daw for their...
You're still afraid?
Yeah, of flood. But the winds, we are not afraid.
How much is a small wind for you? 100 kilometers per hour?
Yeah, if it's 150 or 180, it's a small.
It's a small.
But life goes on, and Yola represents the hope and future of this beautiful country.
Kaya? Ha? Grade 4 pala yan.
She's a smart girl.
What do you want to do when older?
Magano ka ko na be? Pagdako nimo.
Yung pagdako ano ko tim kurso.
You want to be doctor?
At imo, teacher, doktor.
Dali be kay. Buligan.
What's
Ante mo. Teacher.
teacher?
Wow.